Hello, and now we're going to set up our custom menus. So now we can see the custom menus on the site. Um, in the Ixion theme right now, I have this menu here, and I have since added a new page called Our Team, but I would like that page to be under the About page as a sub-menu item. I also want to reorganize the area, excuse me, I want to reorganize the menu items in the order that they appear. Like I want home to be first, and then I might want to make contact last. And Ixion also has a nice social menu, um, and I don't see my social menu anywhere, so I want to set that up. As you can see, social menu is supposed to appear at the top. And there was a social menu when the site was using 2016. In fact, but right now it's not showing. And one of the things that you remember when switching themes in WordPress, one of the things that often happens is that you have to reconfigure your menus. So this is a perfect opportunity to learn about menus. So let's go to our dashboard. And to configure the menus, you want to go to Appearance and then Menus. And then you can also manage menu with live preview, which we'll take a look at in a minute. But let's just start with all the dashboard options for the menu. So right now I'm looking at this menu called Top Menu, menu name. And generally this was the menu that was created before we switched the theme to Ixion. But as you can see, it's not assigned to any location. So you can see that the Ixion theme has two menu locations. It has header, which is the area at the top. That's called the header menu location for Ixion. Then it has a social menu, and then as we can see from the screenshot, the social menu is supposed to appear here in this area. But whenever you switch a theme, the menu locations are not always carried over because you might want to change your menus depending on the theme. So this is the top menu. So let's go ahead and as you can see, I'm not seeing the Our Team here. And the reason is because this is not actually a menu at all. This is just all of the pages. So by default, WordPress just displays all the pages in the menu. And a lot of that can be controlled by the theme as well. But we need to actually add the Our Team page to the menu. But first, let's go ahead and assign this to the header menu. So we're on the display location. Let's click on header. And I'm going to click to save. And now let's see if it displays it. Aha! So now this is our top menu. Now let's go ahead and look at adding pages to the menu. So if you look at the left column, you see all the other items that you can add to a menu. So you can add these are all the pages that you have. And so sometimes it'll just display the most recent pages to make it easy, like if you just created a new page. And then you want to view every single page you have, you would click on View All. And if you want to search a page, let's say you have a lot of pages that you're searching from, you can just type it in. And if you want to put one of your posts inside the menu, you can do that as well. And it works just the way it does with pages. You can also include custom links. So if you had outside links that you want to include in your menu, you can do so here. You would just type in the URL, and then the link text is just the text that you want to be the menu to show up in the menu. And then finally, if you had categories, like for your blog categories, you can link to those in a menu. So it's a nice way to link to a category archive. But in my case, I would like to add my Our Team page. So I'm just going to check it, and then I'm going to click Add to Menu. And it automatically gets added to the bottom. So if I want to drag it, I just relocate it, and I can move it. And to make it a sub page, let's just put it, and now it's a sub item. And I want to rearrange another item. I want to put the contact last. So let's click on save and see how that looks. So now we can see that we have home and we have about and we have our team. And Ixion has a nice little arrow indicator to indicate that it's a submenu. Depending on the theme, you may or may not get an indicator. It just depends on how the designer set the theme up. And you can always, if you learn and dabble in with CSS, you can learn all sorts of tricks to control the aesthetics of your menu. But the built-in, most themes at minimum for built-in, will at least have some sort of indication and styling around the submenu. And you can see the active menu item is highlighted. So if I go to the About page, you see it's now gray. And if I want to go to our team, see how it's now gray? Now let's look a little bit more about the menu items. Let's go and look at, you return to the menu items and you see this little down arrow. So if I click on that, I get some nice information and other things I can set. I can change the navigation label because the navigation label is the text that appears on the menu. But let's say I want to change this text and I want to call it About Us. And original is about, and that's the page title. So that way you can change the label without having to change the page title, which is very useful. And you also have the option, you could control the menu order from here. Or if you want to remove the item or just cancel editing altogether. Then I can click on Save. And now I have About Us. So that's a general look at working with a menu. Let's talk about this social menu. How would I add this social menu at the top? Well, we already have a social linked menu set up. So I'm going to select that. So when I went to select a menu to edit, these are all the menus that I currently have on my site, the menus that I'm creating. And now I've now switched to editing the social menu. And as you can see, I have a whole bunch of social links set up. So if I wanted to link to all my social profiles, I would just, you can view them. And then they're set up as a custom link. So it's just a custom link. And if I want to click the down arrow, I can control the URL and the navigation label. And I can reorder them as I want. Now, you notice that we have this menu, but it's not assigned to display anywhere. So we want to make sure that we're checking social menu. And then save. And now we can see the social menu. Now, the way that the Ixion theme is coded is that when you assign a menu inside this menu area called social menu, it will automatically look for, it'll scan all the URLs in the social menu and it'll look for social network names. So if it sees facebook.com or twitter.com or instagram.com or so forth, it'll replace it with a predefined icon, and that's all built into the theme. If I were to assign this social menu to another location, then it would just display the text. And we'll take a look at that in a little bit when I'll demonstrate what I mean. So now we've set both of our menus. Let's take a little look at a few more settings here. So there's a setting down here at menu settings, auto add pages. So this is something that is, if you had a menu and you want, like anytime you make a new page and if you want it to automatically appear in this menu, you would check that box. And that would be most useful, like for example, if we were at the top menu. May return to the top menu. And you have all these pages, and let's say if I add new pages in the future, and by adding pages I mean like going to pages and then adding new. And if I were to create a page and save it, then it would automatically be added to this menu. So that's what that setting does, automatically added. Um, but in this site, I would like to manually add pages to my menu, so that's why I'm not checking it. Let's take a look at manage locations. So these are all the two locations that are defined in the theme. So the theme has defined two spots, as we talked about earlier, header, menu, and then the social menu. Those are the two locations. So I can create dozens of custom menus, but I can only assign two of them to one of these slots. Some themes only have one slot for menus, and some themes may have three or four or more. And you can create, as you create menus, you just choose the ones that you want to display. You can only have one menu in a given location. And so if I wanted to, I could put my social links menu inside the header menu. Now you can have the same, you can have the same menu in two spots, but you can't have two menus in one spot. So let's see what happens if I set the social menu to be inside the header menu for kicks. Now you see, so you see that it doesn't have the icons assigned. That's because the icons are tied to that social menu location in the theme, from the way the theme is coded. So now I just see the menu label. So I'm going to set it back to top menu and save changes. So let's go over how you would create a new menu, because you do have the option to create a brand new menu. So the first thing you'll want to do is create a menu name. I'm going to create a menu called posts. So I want to make a menu of all my posts. So now I'm going to go in and I'm just going to check and add posts. I'm going to check them both, add the menu. And it's the exact same thing. I can drag and drop. I can make them sub-menus and do all that. And now it's asking me to put it in a spot. And header is already checked because that's what I checked when we were just at the header section. I clicked on use new menu, but I can put it in, and I probably wouldn't want to put it in the social menu section because, again, like I had explained, that's a specialized menu section that's looking for social links. So it'll try to put an icon in there. We don't want that because we don't have any social network links in this one. So let's just assign it to the header area. Click Save. And let's go back to our site. And you can see now that instead of having a top menu, we have this new post menu that we made. So I am going to go back to Manage Locations. And now you can see how the header has been assigned to posts. So you can't have two menus in one spot. So I just bumped it out. So if I want to set it back to top menu, I can. So that means that the post menu is here, but it's not being used for anything. And you can display custom menus in other spots too, including widgets. And we can take a look at displaying a custom menu inside a widget as well. So now let's take a look at Manage with Live Preview, because that's another way that you can create menus and work with your menus. We'll just take a brief look at it. So Live Menus, Live Preview, it lets you edit your menu and see your changes directly as you're editing it. So we're back in the customizer, which we were in earlier, and we're now in the menus section. And so these are all the menus that I have, and two of them are currently in use, the top menu and the social links menu. And post is not in use yet. And then you can manage it. It's very similar looking to the dashboard, and I can drag and drop locations of the items, and you can see it, edit, like I just moved the donation link, and now I'll move it back, and you can see how it changes. If I want to make something a sub page, you can see it that happen in the preview as well. If I want to add new items, then I would click on Add Items, and then all I have to do is click on a page. And you can even add a brand new page if the page doesn't exist yet. That's a nice thing about Live Preview, is that you can create a page directly from here. Now let's try adding a new menu. I'm going to call this short menu, because I'm not going to put very many things in it. And I want to put it in the location, the header location for now, and I'm going to add some items. Let's add only the home, and let's say I just want my about page. And let's add a new page that we don't have so far. Why don't we add a page about our mission? Right there, I've got a brand new page. So when I go back to the dashboard, I'll have a brand new page called Mission. Then I'm going to save this menu. Right, now you see how I have this short menu, and I've replaced it with the home menu. And now I want to make the header menu go back to the top menu that I had before. You can see that I have 4 custom menus, and only 2 of them are in use because the theme only has 2 slots for a menu. So let's go ahead and reassign the location. And as you can see, this is the menu location that's similar to what we had in the dashboard. So I'm going to change it to top menu. And now you see it changing. And we will talk about the widget areas and how you can place menus inside the widget areas with the custom menu location, a custom menu widget. So let's take a look at the new page that was created. It's just to show you how you could create a page. And now we have a brand new page that was created through the live preview, which is a very nice feature. And if I go back to the dashboard version of the menu editing, I can now see my short menu, the one that I created in the live preview, and the customizer is available here as well. So that sums up our discussion of menus. And stay tuned for the next session where we'll be diving into widgets.